Savage, who had the first goal in that Virginia Tech contest, her first. And Guidry, that's the group for Virginia in support of Kayla White. With that, you were acquainted with the starters, and with that, we are underway on what has been a beautiful day in Charlottesville, turning off into a comfortable night. You could hear the fans as the final notes of the starting lineup were announced and some of the pregame activities taking place. So a pretty good group having turned out at Klockner Stadium tonight to support the Cavaliers in what is the second of 3 consecutive in the regular season closing homestand for Virginia. They will finish the regular season on the road with the Cavaliers as everything closes up at Syracuse. But this is the final regular season homestand of the year after the Virginia Tech win, now Miami, and then Boston College on the 22nd to close things out here at home. Well, you wonder how many opportunities are going to be there for a Miami team having scored 11 goals on the year while allowing 22, known for their defensive prowess. But here's the first opportunity, going to the Canes. And that rattles around off a couple of Virginia defenders and is going to be turned aside as a left foot is put into it to punch it away by Guidry. Again, a Miami team with 11 goals, worth underscoring, 22 allowed. You know, Virginia's had no trouble scoring, 27 goals against just the 10 that have been allowed by Kayla White and company. But in conference play, it's been a different story. Outscored 8-7, and that's with the 3 goals that Virginia scored against Virginia Tech, that 3-0 split, getting Virginia right on the cusp of what has been scored against them in conference play, but still 8-7, -1 in the conference when you talk about the split, despite the fact that they're plus 17 in goals overall on the year. So when you think about possession and you think about scoring, you would think that obviously the majority of that possession would belong to Virginia tonight, a Miami team that has been running a 5-3-2 approach and likes to take advantage of the transition chances that come from strong defensive play. It's a group known for how well they remain organized on the defensive side. 5 incredible defenders in Salas, Brown, McCartney, Tucker, and Cerna. That would like to limit the opportunities that Virginia will have to test Dagenet, who is the unquestioned leader on that Miami side of things. White off her 25th win when you talk about the goalkeepers. And a player coming in second in the ACC in goals against average, tops in save percentage on the season when you discuss the Virginia keeper. 25th victory came in that win against Virginia Tech and tied her for 10th in career wins on the all-time list at UVA. But you highlight the Virginia offense because this is a team coming in among the top half of the league in offensive categories. And here they go on the charge for the first real time tonight. And there it bounces up in to the grasp of Dagenet. Dagenet is mentioned the leader on this squad, not just because of how often she has been tested and how solid she's been in goal for Miami, but also the vocal nature of her leadership. Of course, a highly regarded player on so many fronts, and what a week it's been just with some of the announcements related to her status moving forward. One of the storylines we'll get into before all is said and done tonight. First 5-minute stretch rapidly passing by. To this point, Virginia notching the single shot, and Miami with that initial glance off the corner. A glance at a scoring chance for the Canes. Well, here's something materializing. Trying to go far side post. Able to get it by the keeper, but it did not sneak inside that post for a Virginia goal. Good look for Meredith McDermott. And you heard the Cavalier fans as they were hanging on every movement from McDermott as she notches the second shot of the contest for Virginia. That's how close she was to working that right on by, and her reaction tells the story. Strong foot. Dagenet into it. Well, called up to the Canadian national team. That's what we've been referencing for the October window. Freshly announced they'll play Brazil in 2 international friendlies on October 28th and the 31st. In Montreal and Halifax, respectively, and she receiving the nod to be a part of that. Quebec, Canada native, receiving the first call-up to that Canadian national team of her career. So that, along with all the peripheral discussions about her leadership ability and what she has done during her time in goal for the Canes, speaking to just how valuable she has become in this sport. And though tested right away to the tune of a couple of shots for Virginia, Melissa Dagenet having allowed nothing just yet. 248 saves, 4th in program history, 13 clean sheets, which is 4th most by a Hurricane all time. The academic honors there alongside the ACC honors. And the numbers as impressive as you would expect. Now over 4,500 minutes in goal for Miami. Back and forth right at the top of the box for Virginia. Nothing really to do with it for the Cavaliers. As you see Maggie Cagle, when you talk about leadership, she has provided that for UVA. A couple of braces this year. Tied for the team lead in assist. Also the leader, as you know by now, in goals with 7, points with 19 of them entering the week. And she's the lone player on the pitch, interestingly enough, as talented as these two teams are, the lone player on the pitch with a preseason honor to her name in the ACC on either side. Boy, the contribution she has made in her young career for Virginia. Now 11 total goals and 17 total assists for the sophomore, the second year. And they've come in big moments, a couple of game winners. Also had the equalizer against 17th ranked Duke. And the most recent goal for Virginia, hers as well, capped the scoring in the 3-0 victory over Virginia Tech. One of the many reasons that you keep an eye on Maggie Cagle on a night like this. Really been the young trio in so many ways. Cagle, Meredith McDermott, Allie Ross all coming together as the top 3 producers for UVA this season. 7 goals for Cagle, as I mentioned, and of course 6 apiece for McDermott and Ross, respectively. Attempting to cross that toward the near side top of the box, but it's taken away by Miami. There's one of those transition chances for the Hurricanes. And there is Hood, but she is covered up by a host of those orange home Virginia jerseys. Hood, a couple of goals. She has a handful of shots on goal to pace things. And it is her work and Mamupur alongside her as the 2 main attackers for Miami that you really focus in on when when you think about where those scoring opportunities might come from in transition. Of course, Cerna and Tucker certainly provide tremendous help on the flanks when Miami's in transition. But it really is that duo that you focus on for the Canes. There's Meredith McDermott. A couple of braces and a win over Nevada and West Virginia, to her credit, earlier in the year. Chased by Una McCormick to the far side. Something brewing for Virginia. Maggie Cagle calling for it for Virginia this side. Here come the Who's. Flemia doing some good work once more. And that's lofted up, but well out of the reach of Allie Ross. And it'll be another goal kick for Dagenais. Hard to believe that you're talking a week plus remaining in the regular season in the ACC. This game against Miami, one more at home on the 22nd against Boston College, and the trip to Syracuse on the 26th, all that remains for Virginia to make their mark, try to crawl into that top 6 in the league and earn a tournament berth. For Miami, it's a trip through the Commonwealth, which includes a stopover on Sunday at Virginia Tech. And then a return to Coral Gables for a game of their own on the 26th against Wake Forest. That will complete the 2023 regular season slate. Both shots in the early stages of this one belonging to Virginia. Meredith McDermott responsible for one. Samara Guidry responsible for the other. Speaking of, on cue, that's played forward to Cagle. Give and go, and cross toward the middle. Couple of Virginia players right there, last of which was Allie Ross, but neither able to put anything on that as a scoring bid. And this is finally cleared by Miami. I talk about that group of 5 for Miami out back and the nice job they do. Take a look at how tough it was for Virginia to get someone on ball right at the top of the 6. And then in the end, the work that Salas, Brown, McCartney, Tucker, Cerna able to provide, difference making. Played into the box once more. And Dagenais over to chase it down. Multiple goal scorers for Miami on the year, 8 of them to be specific. But no one besides Caroline Hood with multiple goals. The reason we talked coming in about Hood as the focus of the attack for Miami when the opportunities present themselves for the Canes. Beautifully taken away. Cerna weighs her options after that. And they'll play it back to Dagenais. Fiorette, who comes to Una McCormick. Possession Virginia's. First 15 gone. In a key ACC contest with Miami. 19th meeting all time between the Hoos and the Canes. Virginia, sizable advantage across the previous 18, 15-2-1. Cavaliers lead in the all-time series. In fact, Miami will be looking to do something tonight that has never happened in this series, and that's pick up a win at Klockner. Hoos are 10-0-0 in games played right here in this facility and have outscored Miami 27-2 in the contest taking place right here at Klockner. Well, in an effort to increase that, Virginia back into the attacking third, but that one played long. And a reset coming. You'll remember the last time these two teams met, it was Alexis Spanstra with the game winner in a 1-0 victory for the Hoos. Made it 5 straight in the series, as the last win for Miami was a 2-1 victory back in 2016. Well, kept alive just before the goal line. Nothing to show for it in the end, though Virginia does have it right back. McCormick had some help there from Cagle, decided to take the shot herself from distance. Dagenet right there. Here's one more look. Opting to take it herself in that small window, just threading the needle between the two defenders. And provided no visual challenge for Dagenet, who has already notched a couple of saves in the match. A 3-0 shots advantage for Virginia here in this first half. 2 of those on goal to this point. I mentioned Virginia top half of the league offensively. 5th in assists with 26. 6th in points with 80 and 7th in goals with the 27 that we documented earlier. So it is a Cavaliers squad that has been able to put some scoring, some impressive offensive numbers together. It just was tough sledding through the first portion of the conference slate, until they finally broke through into the win column with the 3-0 victory over Virginia Tech the last time out. Whistle and a foul call on the far side. John Brady, our referee tonight, have not introduced the officials yet. Andrew Sharon, the AR, Ryan Schilling, the other of the ARs. In this ACC contest. If you're wondering how things have shaken out standing-wise coming into tonight in the ACC, and who are those teams poised to be in the conference tournament if the season ended today, particularly since we led in with both teams trying to crawl into that spot. Worth taking a glance at that for you. First things first, here's Virginia still threatening. That's going to rattle around and eventually be cleared by that Miami back line. Another promising opportunity for Virginia that ends solely with the oohs and ahs of the Klockner faithful. And nothing yet on the scoreboard. Played back to the midfield now. Virginia setting up shop on this end of the field for now. Theoret. And back to Una McCormick. Toward the top of the 6. Attempted header for Ross. It was not to be. And then punched aside. Mahmoud Poor giving chase. And Virginia playing a little keep away. Well, the standings right now as follows. It's Florida State at 6-0-1. Pitt, Clemson, and Notre Dame with identical records coming into a busy night in the ACC at 5-1-1. Lofted up, and that's going to end up top of the net. So the scoring chance for Virginia, again, simply resting in Dagene's grasp. And she retrieves that from the top above the crossbar. It's Florida State 6-0-1, Pitt, Clemson, Notre Dame 5-1-1. Then North Carolina at 4-0-3, and Wake Forest, the real vulnerable team there perhaps, for a late surge from someone in terms of that 6th and final spot in the upcoming ACC tournament. Deacons at 2-2-3, sitting there with 9 points. Virginia Tech also with 9 points. And of course, Miami with 7, Virginia with 6, depending upon what happens elsewhere, would like to find themselves alongside those two, at least in the conversation down the stretch, for one of those 6 coveted spots in the ACC Championship, which begins on October 29th on campus sites. Of course, it shifts to Cary with the semis, and everything culminating in the November 5th championship. Another distance shot, this one taken from well beyond the top of the box and not requiring much movement from Dagene this go-round. Flamia credited with Virginia's 5th shot of the contest. So you have to get into that top 6. These two teams really in need of securing 3 in order to stay in the hunt for that, with so many of those spots in many ways seeming to be locked down with the way the top tier in the league has been playing. Cagle, a couple of Hurricanes to work around. Some fancy footwork to do so, but then it rattles off of. Allie Salas will serve as a chance for Virginia now, as the Cavaliers will set up with their first corner of the night. Comes at right around the 20.5-minute mark remaining in the first half.
Corner kick, Virginia.
Corner for both teams. Miami's turned aside very early. We'll see what Alexis Theoret and company can do with the first such opportunity here. Header comes back toward the corner. cleared for Miami. So both teams one such look on a set piece. Still finding themselves scoreless to this point. 6 shots, all belonging to Virginia as we dip inside 20 minutes remaining in the opening half of action. Think about the work of Dagenet already with a trio of saves to run the total a little bit higher. Skyla Klein having appeared in 5 games, but Dagenet already at the 1,100-minute mark and having notched save number 60 in this contest across the now 14 games in which she has played for Miami this year. We documented for those of you that were with us earlier, or their stellar play across the course of her career has earned the Miami keeper in the days that are to come in terms of the Canadian national team. Virginia keeping the pressure applied, though. Cagle will have it straight taken away at the extent of the box. Nicely done. Now Miami looking for some way to work something through to Caroline Hood. It was not to be. Of Guidry and Ross working to make something happen. That's steadied by Theoret. Very little required to this point of this back grouping for UVA. There's Lacey McCormick. You saw Talia Stouty on your screen for just an instant. Comes her direction now and on cue. Punched forward to Guidry. A header off of Meredith McDermott. Right at Dagenet. You know, talk about that group for Virginia, that defending group. There's Yapic, who scored her first goal for the Hoos when she provided the opener, what ultimately became the game winner against Virginia Tech. And Stouty, who just continues to climb the record book in terms of starts, the minutes that she provides and the consistency back there. 3rd all-time in career starts, with her 92nd coming on Sunday against Virginia Tech in what was her 100th game as a Cavalier. So that group maybe not grabbing the headlines as some of the scorers, but the consistency they provided so key.
Checking in for your Cavaliers, number 26.
First batch of substitutions in this contest. Collier coming in for McDermott.
Number 18, Sarah Bruner, replacing number 8, Allie Ross.
Taylor Shell coming in for Wheeler. Of note on the Miami side of things, and Bruner and Carter both a part of the Virginia sub-in group as well. Should mention Ryan, who was injured against NC State, we're told available tonight, which is great news, is having worked through that injury dating back to the NC State contest on the 8th. So you wonder what role will be played there before the night is done. But it comes to mind that the news of Ryan's availability, a positive, certainly, as the team gets poised for the home stretch. Julia Edwards, by the way, also the only one we did not mention coming in as a part of that substitution group, alongside Taylor Shell for Miami. So a couple of players coming off the bench in first glance for the visiting Canes, and a trio of Cavaliers that we walked you through, now seeing their first action of the night. Initial 2/3 of the opening half gone. 6 shots for UVA, half of those on goal. Miami still looking for a first shot in the contest. This is a Miami team. We talked about it, just the 11 goals to 22 conceded. This is a team that has notched just 66 shots while giving up 197. So Dagenet having time to shine, as she has been tested so frequently this season. But you think about the difficulty in getting those opportunities, somewhat deceptive when you consider Miami's approach. Again, a solid defensive squad. They'll try to use transition when things are going well. But a team that will attempt to make the most of the few opportunities, at least when you look at the trends, that may materialize on a given night in the ACC. A glance at Kayla White, maybe not as much in the thick of things thus far, with those shots having been defended. Now in the mid-teens in terms of solo shutouts, alongside the 25 victories that she had secured on the year, that, or I should say on the career, that 25th coming against the Hokies. Well, what a lift that was for UVA, not just the Commonwealth Clash notoriety, finally breaking through in an ACC contest on the year for Coach Swanson's team. Been a conference year that began on the road at Louisville with that 1-1 draw, dropped the 1-0 decision to North Carolina, ranked number 1 in the country at the time. Right here at home, played the Tar Heels tough. Went to Wake, lost 2-0, played 17th ranked Duke to a 1-1 draw. Went on the road at 9th ranked Clemson, played the Tigers to a 1-1 draw. Then fell 2-1 to NC State before picking up that 3-0 victory over Virginia Tech. The record's somewhat deceptive when you really think through the specifics of how the early part of the season slate lined up for Virginia. And with the toughness of so many of those draws earned, to at least notch something here and there, Cavaliers are still in the hunt if things should go really well for Virginia tonight. Of course, in the hunt when you discuss the potential for sliding into one of those final spots in the upcoming ACC tournament. Well, here's what Virginia did with the set piece. Theo Rett playing it into the box, resulting in a chance on a header for Lacey McCormick that went left. Serves to raise the shot total to 8 for UVA at the 11-minute mark, remaining in the half.
In the game for Virginia, number 16, Ella Carter. Replacing 19, Jill Flamia.
Flamia coming out, Carter coming in. Ella Carter, that is, and of course, Simba's a part of the subbing group in recent moments for Virginia as well. Maya Rogers giving Meeks a breather. Claire Llewellyn subbing in for Mamu Poor on the Miami side of things. See what a difference those fresh legs may make on either side inside the final 10 minutes of the half. Well, this has been the challenge for Coach Sarah Barnes' Miami squad to this point. They have been in a defensive posture, but has proven out in this first half, a posture that Miami has been very comfortable with, turning aside 8 Virginia shots, including Dagenet handling 3 of them on goal to this point for just that many saves. Nehemiah Carter on that throw-in. Now Ella Carter with it. A quick turnaround, only to be spoiled by a right-footed effort from Miami. Lofted up in the general area of Emma Tucker. Well, here's another of those transition chances. Simbas the header. Racing over to spoil it, that Virginia line of defense. Miami in search of a first shot in the match is one of the few chances for extended possession for Miami. Look to be shaping up, but just that quickly. Claire Llewellyn and company have to retreat. And here's Cerna, waiting to see exactly what Virginia's going to do at the 8-minute mark. Cleanly played contest so far. Just the 4 fouls between the two teams to this juncture. A couple of corners split evenly at 1 apiece. Though all the shots belong to UVA with a +8 advantage there. Nothing on the scoreboard in the category that matters just yet. And this is familiar territory in recent days for Miami. You'll remember this is a Canes team coming off a draw in Coral Gables against that NC State squad that gave Virginia trouble when they traveled across the state line and into North Carolina earlier in the year. Two shots from Meredith McDermott to this point. 2 for Lacey McCormick. Those are the 2 leading Virginia to the charge in terms of shots. Here's Dagan Miller. The junior forward out of Boulder, Colorado. Well, there's Collier trying to work to the left of the defender. Just plays that back to Una McCormick. All the way down toward the goal line. And it'll be a goal kick. Miami able to win that as Sarah Bruner tried to see if she could create a late first half chance for UVA. Well, Virginia allowing very little, nothing new. You think about the 10 goals alone. It's tied for 3rd in the ACC. Number 1, Florida State. Fewest goals allowed this season is alongside Virginia, and they're behind only 9th-ranked Clemson and 3rd-ranked North Carolina. In terms of overall goals surrendered, the few shots that Virginia has accumulated against no such opportunities for Miami. A reminder of just how tough it can be to score on Kayla White and company. Keeper you have seen regularly in this one, Dagenet, will place a foot into it once again at the 4.5-minute mark, first half. That really showing you how deceptive Virginia's record can be in many ways when you think of how good they've been defensively, how good White has been in goal, how prolific the scoring has been to the tune of 27 goals this season. It really was just a tough run of contests in which Virginia had to fight, scrap, and claw to simply come away with a handful of draws against some of the best teams, not in just in the ACC, but in the land, that happened to also rest in the Atlantic Coast Conference. League that is tied for the most teams in the latest edition of the United Soccer Coaches Poll, with 5 in the top 25. Now controlled by Miami inside the box as Virginia tried to put together a late challenge in this first half. Well, Ryan into the contest. We talked about Laughlin Ryan being available after experiencing that injury in the NC State contest. And what a welcome sight for Virginia fans to see Ryan now back out on the pitch, as she will see action in the final few minutes of the first half. You knew at some point tonight it was likely that the Charlotte native, the senior at a Myers Park High School in Charlotte, would become a part of the mix once more for UVA, and here is the moment that she returns to action for the Cavaliers. Melissa Dagenet. Forward onto the Virginia half of the field, and that's going to rattle around and into the UVA technical area. Right in front of that Virginia bench, Taylor Shell to throw in. Taylor Shell, by the way, one of those on the roster from the Commonwealth of Virginia. Worth mentioning, she is a Richmond native, the grad student who went to Midlothian. Flag raised, indicating possession belongs to UVA. Can the Cavaliers take the final minute of this first half for a spin?
1 minute remaining in the half.
Shell, we should be specific as we mentioned that, was a native of Manhattan. Came out of the Empire State, but grew up in the Commonwealth, taking her talents to Miami, and what a moment it must be, tucked away, and anytime you can return to a home area. In the back of her mind as she plays against the Cavaliers on this night. One of several coming off the bench for Miami in this first half. Rogers, Llewellyn, and Edwards, the others, seeing time in support of that starting unit.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6,
Virginia using 7 off the bench in the first half and getting 1 more than that in the shot column. 8 shots for Virginia across the first 45, none of them finding the back of the net. As a result, the Hoos and the job done by Dagenet and her defensive group that made sure none of the shots for Virginia connected for anything on the scoreboard. And as a result of all that, back to work we go. 45 minutes to settle this one. Miami trying to do something the Canes have never done, and that's win a match here at Klockner Stadium. And also trying to snap a streak for Virginia in the series, regardless of location, that now sits at 5 consecutive. Cavaliers trying to make it 6, 2016. A 2-1 win in Coral Gables the last time Miami picked up a win over UVA. And perhaps bigger than all of that, both these teams knowing the chances to climb in the ACC standings and remain in the conversation for one of the 6 spots for the upcoming ACC tournament, becoming fewer and fewer with every passing day on the calendar here in the month of October. Told you a little bit about Taylor Shell earlier in the contest, her time in the Richmond area growing up. Back out there as a part of the personnel grouping for Miami. And here is Melissa Dagenet, the Canadian team member who puts things back in action for Miami here. If you're wondering about the all-time series and just how many games have been played here at Klockner, maybe you weren't with us in the first half. 10-0-0 in games played at Klockner Stadium all time. And Virginia having outscored Miami 27-2 in those 10 prior contests here. And worth repeating, though, the numbers have trended UVA at 8-zip in the terms of shots taken. These two teams on even footing in the early stages of this second half where it counts. In the 18 meetings all time, Virginia 15-2-1 overall against the Hurricanes. Two teams coming in with some momentum. Miami off the strength of a draw against NC State in their most recent home match over the weekend. And Virginia ultimately breaking through with their first win in ACC play the last time out against the rivals. A 3-0 victory in the Commonwealth Clash. Japic, who was a big part of that, right in the thick of all that, before working it off to Flamia, who will have it back her direction now. Mention Japic's name because she puts a left foot into it. She was the player who started the scoring, picking up her initial goal. 2023 with the first of what would be the 3 against Virginia Tech. Here is Reese Wheeler. As it's once more controlled by Dagenet. Well, look no further than the first half tonight for an understanding of why she is the unquestioned leader of this Miami squad. Actions speak louder than words, and though she's among the vocal leaders for Coach Sarah Barnes' squad, her play has backed up any communication about fighting down to the wire in ACC action here tonight. Claire Llewellyn to Julia Edwards. And back where Llewellyn sends it over toward the touchline, and that's going to be out of everyone's reach. It'll belong to Virginia. Maggie Cagle over for the throw-in. Maggie Cagle, 7 goals, leading Virginia on the year. McDermott with 6, Meredith McDermott, of course, and Allie Ross with 6. So that trio tonight, limited to shots alone. You're wondering how they have factored into Virginia's shot total of 8 to this point. Maggie Cagle has 1 of those shots. Meredith McDermott has 2 of them. And Allie Ross also notching a single shot among the now 9 that have been credited Virginia. The latest of which you saw somewhat on cue for Allie Ross, which went right. John Brady making sure all is in order. He's blown the whistle to the tune of 10 fouls tonight. 6 of those assessed Virginia, 4 of them Miami. No cautions to this point, having been handed out on either side. And what has been a cleanly played ACC match in more ways than one. Trying to play one through and into the box, the Canes. Seeing Virginia rip a page out of Miami's defensive playbook and posture thus far. Throw in to Mahmoudpour. And Alexis Theoret to take that away. Theoret, a couple of assists to notch her 2 points on the year. They came in the win over Virginia Commonwealth back on September 3rd, that 4-1 victory. But what she does beyond what you see on the stat sheet, so critical for Virginia, is much of the possession going through Theoret. Get this side, laid there, right-footed punch, but it's going to sail wide left off the foot of Jill Flamia. Flamia's second shot of the night. Virginia now in double digits in that category, as that was the Who's 10th. And here's one more glance at it. Ten shots, 3 total on goal. Still the overall count of those that have been on target. Julia Edwards and company going to work it all the way far side. Cartney down to Tucker, but turned away by the Virginia duo, which includes Yapich. Yapich, if you missed it when we talked about it in the first half, scored her first goal for the Who's when she connected on the opening goal in the Virginia Tech contest last time out. Ultimately the game winner as they held the Hokies scoreless. Fourth shutout, by the way, for quite this season in doing so. And the 15th in her career. Player shaken up is Salas. Meredith McDermott in the mix and filling up your screen. McDermott, one of a trio of players with a couple of shots tonight for Virginia. Lacey McCormick and Flamia, who you saw take her second a moment ago, the others.
Checking in for Miami, number 21, Lauren Meeks, replacing 29, Ali Salas.
Salas is going to be subbed out after that. Meeks coming back on. Lauren Meeks was a part of the initial unit for Miami tonight. Finds Meeks right away. She sends this forward with a left foot. Kayla White will simply watch it sail by, and a goal kick is coming. Well, Miami at least notching that first shot inside the initial 10 minutes of the second half. As the advantage for Virginia is now +9 at 10-1 in that key category. Trying to lay that out there where Yapic could chase it down, but disrupted just enough by Miami. Quick turnaround for the Canes. Out there for Shell, still working with it, Miami. Having to come out to the top of the 6 to smother it is Kayla White. See some aggressive moments from the Hurricanes. They're not only snatching a first shot of the match, but also forcing Kayla White out of goal for one of the few times tonight. Throw in coming for Virginia, far side. Work to the feet of Una McCormick. Plenty of chase from Mamupour. That just kind of trickles in at the foot of Dagenet. Looking for control of possession right now in what's been a bit of a back and forth sequence. Chested by Caroline Hood, and Kayla White briefly tested once more. Mamupour credited with a shot there, the second for Miami. And White, as a result, picking up her first save in these last several moments. Middle, footed effort. And ranging over to work on top of it is Dagenet. To turn aside the Virginia look once more. That's a third for Jill Flamia in the game. And here's her latest challenge to Melissa Dagenet. 4 saves for Dagenet. White, who has it now, picking up one just a moment ago, as these two keepers, a couple of the headliners coming in, have been everything you would expect in a critical conference contest. We're talking about the conference and how solid the top-tier teams in the ACC have been. May surprise you to know that Florida State and North Carolina, the two teams with those high rankings, 2 of just 6 teams in all of Division I without a loss this season.
Number 22, Taylor Shell.
And they make the ACC the only conference with more than a single team remaining unbeaten. talk about trio of teams with 5 wins alongside the 6-win and unblemished Florida State squad. But look at 4-0-3 North Carolina, really completing that group of 5 at the top that has left the rest of the league to scramble for that 6th and final spot. In the upcoming conference tournament. Crossed over, and tracking it is White. It will sail high. And a half behind us in the second 45 as we work through the 60th minute of action, and these two teams remain on even footing at 0-0. One of the things really kind of jumped out this weekend looking at some of the numbers coming into tonight, a busy night around the conference, something we'll take a glance at before all is said and done tonight. Some of the things perhaps going on elsewhere on this 19th day of October. But with how the league and conference contests have shaken out, just what home field has meant. We mentioned how solid Virginia has been here at home against Miami in the history of this series, but in conference play this season, home teams 21-16-12. It's a winning percentage of .551, 7-3-4. And 14 matches among the most recent of snapshots in conference play. So we'll see if that should hold true for Virginia tonight, if the unbeaten mark all time against Miami here at Klockner Stadium will hold true tonight. You know what a effective home field advantage it has been for Virginia to play in this facility over the years. In many ways, regardless of whether you're talking men's or women's team, regardless of what sport that is played on this turf. Just a facility that has been very kind, and certainly in this series with Miami for the women's soccer team. It has been that from a possession standpoint tonight for Virginia. Who's owning the majority of that? Still looking to break through with the first goal. Will this be the moment? Slide over into a window to shoot was Allie Ross. Comes right back to Ross. Cagle was giving chase, and 2/3 of that big scoring trio for UVA, trying to make something happen, thus far to no avail. Top of the 18, but turning and deflecting that was Llewellyn. Nicely done. Easy to see why there is so much conversation about this Miami group of backs. Just tremendous defenders back there for the Canes. Think about what the keeper has done so far. Perhaps pass the test one more. McDermott had a bit of open real estate around her, but Virginia unable to work it through. Lead out for Allie Ross. Now back to Yapich. She will rattle that off of Emmy McCourtney. McCartney, who was there providing the mark on Virginia's attack, and it is wisely worked off the Miami defender to create the corner chance. Just a second corner in this contest for UVA as Theo Red stands over it. Near side flag. Let's see if Virginia got a hold of that. It would appear so. That is off of Allie Ross, and now it'll be a goal kick. That's just the third corner of the night combined, and Virginia's second. We'll see the Hoos come away empty. Heavy collision. A couple of players down to the turf. Mahmoud Poor. Back to Emma Tucker. And taken away by Allie Ross once more. All kind of open spaces for Ross. Stover, header, and Virginia is on the board. Jill Flamia had tried time and time again. In fact, she was responsible for more looks at the goal tonight than any other Virginia player. It's somewhat fitting that she sneaks it by on the header off the assist of Maggie Cagle to give Virginia a 1-0 lead. Well, after notching 4 saves prior, they are finally able to score on Dagenet. Here's how it looks. Cagle right to the top of the 6th, and waiting for the header is Flamia. And on her 4th try of the night, she is effected to give Virginia the lead. What an effective header. And UVA now up 1-0 on the 14th shot of the evening for the Cavaliers. The 14th, the breakthrough. Flamia doubling her total on the year. Her second goal, and that alongside of an assist also notched earlier in the season. Well, how often did we continue to call the talented midfielder's name time and time again? And she provided the trio of previous looks for Virginia, and it is, as I mentioned at the time, somewhat fitting that she becomes the first goal scorer for UVA. And it was a matter of perfect placement from Cagle to provide that scoring chance. And for all the talk about Cagle scoring, and yes, she is Virginia's leading scorer with those 7 goals on the year. That was her 6th assist of the season, and she's now tallied a point total, reaching the threshold of 20 in this 2023 campaign. So the breakthrough for Virginia in the 66th minute. Cavaliers breakthrough on Cagle's assist and Flamia's second goal of the season. Served out, throw in coming for UVA. Cavaliers using, and I'll go back to it for a moment, a 14th shot and a 5th on goal as the breakthrough moment in what is now a 1-0 affair.
Checking in for Miami, number 29, Ellie Salas, replacing number 19, Delaney Brown.
Look at Taylor Shell as she weighs options before the throw-in. It's handled by the Commonwealth product. Talked about the Manhattan native growing up in the Richmond area of Midlothian fame. She is sent down to the turf after colliding with Meredith McDermott. Still 21.5 minutes for Miami to respond. Canes had just begun to do some positive things. Owning some of the early second half possession. Putting a couple of shots together to erase the 0 in that category, only to see Virginia fairly quickly answer with the game's first goal. Either coming for Meredith McDermott, Sarah Bruner back in action for Virginia, and Maya Rogers at the same time coming back into the contest on the Miami side of things. Well, we promised we would take a glance around the league, give you a sense of what was happening elsewhere on this night. Worth it when you consider 7 matches happening all at once on this busy Thursday in the ACC. Played to a draw in Winston-Salem. Boston College and Wake Forest, 1-1. The ultimate score there. Same score in effect, 67th minute at Seminole Soccer Complex, that between Pitt and Florida State. Hold that for a moment as Theoret and Virginia work back into the attacking third. And Miami looking to punch that aside. Long chase for Caroline Hood over there. She'll disrupt, and it'll be out for a throw-in. Gives us a chance to give you a couple of other scores. 63rd minute over in Blacksburg. It's Duke 1, Virginia Tech 0. Louisville and Clemson are in the 70th minute. No score in Clemson, South Carolina. Another look the direction of Dagenais, but she'll handle this with ease. And Virginia's bid to double the advantage turned aside. Flamia again also wanting to double her impact on the night from a scoring standpoint. And one more score to pass along among the other contest of consequence. NC State 1, Syracuse 0. That's in the 66th minute in Raleigh. So again, it is that Wake squad playing to the draw with Boston College that these two teams are trying to find their way up alongside Wake and Virginia Tech. Cavaliers doing the good work with the 3-0 victory over the Hokies to stay right there within striking distance. And you think of what 3 tonight would mean, with the knowledge that Wake Forest and Boston College have gone final with a 1-1 draw. Of course, Miami with the 2 conference victories coming in with 7 points, while Virginia, even with that 3-0 victory, sitting at 6. So both of them, needless to say, with plenty of work to be done, but you can see a mathematical path to at least remaining in the conversation across the last week or so for one of those 6 spots. Virginia playing with that sense of urgency, having notched the single goal off the 15 shots tonight. Left-footed, clear out of the box by Llewellyn, and then a clear out of the area to follow. Of course, if the 1-0 lead for Duke over Virginia Tech holds in Blacksburg, that coupled with the Wake draw against Boston College, at least trending in a direction that will make the final results, if you're looking at it from a Virginia perspective, from this contest, from the Boston College contest here on the 22nd, and a road trip to Syracuse to close out the year, potentially consequential. Canes also trying to make a late push. And you think about, from a Miami perspective, what is laid out in front of the Canes. They have the trip to Blacksburg, and then Winston-Salem coming to Coral Gables, or Wake Forest, I should say, coming to Coral Gables after what happened in Winston-Salem on this night, and where things sit with Virginia Tech potentially if Duke hangs on in that contest. So it makes a tally of 3 on the line and available between these two tonight. Highly elevated in these two teams' effort to reach the postseason in ACC play. So while you may not see the numbers you were at times accustomed to seeing besides the names on a night like this, talking about national rankings, of course, a match in which you were seeing both teams fight down to the finish, because the ability to keep hopes of an extended season alive are truly on the line across the final 14 minutes of tonight's contest. Wake is to 10 when you talk points, and Virginia Tech remains at 9, and UVA could pull up alongside that Hokie squad that was most recently defeated by this squad. You keep an eye on what happens in Clemson for Louisville, obviously. And Duke would be making a jump to be right there alongside of the winner of this one with the tally the Blue Devils would earn. So it would be a crowded group trying for that 6th spot. But things have certainly trended in a direction to, as we've said a couple of times tonight, leave the winner of this one in the thick of the conversation and make those final couple of conference games fall in the category of highly important to the postseason picture. Beyond the touchline, as Anaya Collier comes this direction in an effort to retrieve it. Those highly regarded prospects, top 150. George Soccer. Here's Una McCormick. Laid right on the foot of Theoret, but able to get too much underneath it. And inside 12 minutes to play, it'll stay 1-0 Virginia. Cavaliers finally able to work one by. The outstanding Miami keeper did so in the 66th minute. A goal by Flamia on the assist of Maggie Cagle. Still standing as a difference in the contest right now. Miami working with urgency to respond. They would make a little history turn into a little further hope on the season. With a come-from-behind victory here tonight, but it is going to take quite a finish across the 11 and change that remains. Right back to Shell. And an attempt to feed that either to Shell or all the way over to Lauren Meeks, who was up the flank with the head of steam. But Virginia able to disrupt it just enough. Turned around by Maya Carter. Cross rattled maybe off of a Miami body. That's still alive momentarily before finally snagged by Dagenet one more time. Boy, take a look at this. Not just the carom off that Miami, looked like Lou Ellen back there for Miami, not just the carom off the Miami defender, but also the brief incident in which Virginia had a chance to perhaps clean it up. It was not to be. 6 saves on the night for Dagenet. Melissa Dagenet having withstood 17 Virginia shots. 7 of those officially listed as on goal for UVA tonight. Well inside the final 10 minutes now. Go time in the ACC. Go time on this night for these two teams. Down the stretch in the match as we head down the stretch in conference play. And there's Ross. That's right off of McCartney. Able to get it by McCartney this time, but it ends up going by everyone. And back outside the box. And Rogers giving chase. And then a left-footed clear. Header to keep it alive for Theoret. Bit of a shove, nothing a result of it as Collier worked down the near side. And this again proves elusive. Just before Una McCormick can get there. It's punched to the other side of the field. Well, that did go out inside the flag. It will be a chance for Virginia. Four total corners tonight. 3 of them belonging to the Hoos. Ryan Carter off near side. She is not alone. Allie Ross, you saw come trotting this direction also. Last to take a seat, Ella Carter. Here is Theoret. She has each prior time tonight. Handles this on the set piece. Top of the 6, center. Cleared out of there by Claire Llewellyn one more time. Nice job done by Llewellyn tonight on so many fronts and on a number of occasions. Called her name regularly. Those key Miami defenders out of the state of Michigan. Opting for the warmer climate for her collegiate career. Once more gathered up by Dagenet. Dagenet quickly rolls that out. Miami looking for the equalizer across the final 6:15. Well, here comes a chance for the Canes. Cavaliers still trying to get back. This will help. As it's punched across the touchline, throw in coming. Thrown in to Mamupour. Foot into the 6, and that's contacted by Lacey McCormick. It'll mean a chance for Miami. Canes had just the one corner prior and have notched a pair of shots tonight. But here's a real opportunity. McCartney punches it in, only to be tracked down by Kayla White, who leaves home with confidence to snatch this out of the sky, keeping it 1-0 UVA. Florida State appearing as if everything's going to remain according to plan thus far on the year in Tallahassee. Now 3-1. The lead over Pitt in the 80th minute. Duke still leads Virginia Tech in the 74th minute. 1-0 remains the score in Blacksburg. Clemson a 3-0 advantage over Louisville in the 82nd minute. NC State continues to lead Syracuse 1-0 in the 79th minute. And as we mentioned before, Wake Forest and Boston College with that 1-1 draw having gone final earlier tonight. Guidry grabs the jersey, coming off toward that Virginia sideline, just as this is thrown in by Yapich. Cavaliers trying to hang on for 4 minutes and change to snatch a key 3 in ACC conference play and make it back-to-back victories in the league. Much work remains, though, with 3:58 to play. Well, staying with the Canes for a moment right at the top of the 18. A sense of urgency as the throw-in is coming. Emma Tucker to handle it. A test of Kayla White from distance, just trying to make something happen at the top of the box. on this shot by Mahmoudpour. Comes in the 87th minute. And it means White, who has 2 saves on the night, will be able to burn a little time before she kicks it away. White again taking her time as she retrieves it with 2:22 to go. Jill Flamia with a goal in the 66th minute off an assist from Maggie Cagle. It was Flamia on the header. What was her 4th shot of the night? She ends up tallying 5, at least to this juncture, including the one that matters, which would stand as Virginia's game winner if the Cavaliers can salt it away across the final 150 now. Home squad happy to keep it in this portion of the field. That header helps with 95 seconds to play. Difficult to term things a must-win because you never know what's going to transpire across the final handful of games in a given regular season. But certainly a huge win if Virginia is able to hang on in the match's now final minute or so.
1 minute remaining.
But it looks like there's going to be one final challenge from Miami, as you would expect, and there's a header. Virginia wins the ball and clears it toward the midfield. However you term it, the 3 the Cavaliers can pick up tonight. Certainly keeping hope, the goal structure, and a shot at so much of what follows in 2023 alive, where you just see the energy used up by Meredith McDermott and company. Had to have it type night. Maya Carter in, as that will give the fans a chance to let Flamia know how much they appreciate her efforts on this evening in Charlottesville. It was her goal in the 66th minute that the Who's are attempting to make stand up now in the final half minute of the fight with Miami.
Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6.
Final seconds,
5,
work off
4,
the game clock.
3, 2, 1.
And the match will go to the Who's on the strength of that 66th minute goal from Jill Flamia, on the strength of the latest of Maggie Cagle's assists.